So the SOC 2 Type 2 process starts with an organization defining the audit scope and objectives, like what do we want to learn from the audit and what trust criteria are in scope. Springbuck currently goes with the security, availability, and confidentiality criteria, with security being the only mandatory one for a SOC 2. Then the auditors come in and review the scope with you. And so you sit down with them and you look it over, you make sure that it's clear for all parties involved. And then with the scope in mind, the auditors will create a plan and set up a project timeline. And then you lay out the dates and you have the deadlines where you need to have your information presented to them, and the back and forths are all laid out. And then it comes to the testing of the security controls. So the auditor will ask for tons of documentation like policies, and they'll request populations from us, from which they will pull samples to test. So there's lots of documentation back and forth that they're requesting. These areas of testing include most of the business units across the organization, to some extent at least. So there's a lot of coordination and working together across the business units to get the right info to your auditor. And then the auditors really just dive in and test the controls for their design, make sure they're designed appropriately, make sure that they are effective, working how they're supposed to be. So there's more back and forth there. If evidence is missing, or sometimes if the evidence isn't clear, we'll oftentimes have to just provide explanations around the things that were submitted. Next comes the documentation of the results. So the auditors will record the results. They will issue a draft report and send it back to the organization that's getting audited. At that point, you can make any edits or clarify anything if some of their information is incorrect. And then they deliver the final report. They'll give us a written evaluation of the controls and share a final opinion on whether they think that we have our controls suitably designed and that they are ensuring data security.